Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of The Uncut. I'm with a very good friend of mine, Tricia. Excited to have you here today, love.
I'm excited to be here.
And we're here to talk about, well, we'll dive into it, but the many faces of grief and love. As everyone knows, my story and how this podcast came about, it's just another part of the conversation is needed around grief and mental health and how one's healing journey looks different to all of us, right? Like there's just no one size that fits all. But I'm excited to have Tricia here. We kind of go way back, like a decade ago, colleagues in the industry. And then we didn't really chat. And then we reconnected a few years ago, back in 2022, over a hair workshop. Such
Mhm.
different times in 2022. And this was before both of our lives would radically change. But welcome, my friend. I'm going to let you do a quick intro and introduce yourself to everybody, please.
I'm Tricia Bennett. I'm currently a widow, and I'm also a former makeup artist. I was a photographer for a bit, and now I'm just retired and living my best life.
I love it. And then you also have some news. Can we share that?
Not really.
Okay, not yet. Stay tuned for
I
the next one.
Stay tuned. Yeah, we'll get to that, but there's no announcement happening today.
I feel that. Yeah, I get that, which is okay. Now that we got everybody excited, we'll come back to actually what we're here to
Go
talk
back.
about, which I'm really, I don't want to say like I'm excited to hear from you, but it's just one of those things like another sister in the sisterhood,
Mhm.
who has gone through some stuff. And, I can imagine because I feel like that's a conversation where a lot of people are like, I can't imagine how you're feeling or what you've been going through. And I think we do imagine. And then unfortunately, this is both of our stories is that we can imagine, right? The heaviness, the pain, but maybe you also found something else before your husband passed. Maybe there was like tenderness, some enlightenness, some maybe coming together. How about you just kind of share a little bit about your journey there with us?
Well, it's everybody's unique. And so my journey was a 26-year relationship that ended in my husband's death. We had really good years and we had some really, troubled years. And right
Mhm.
before his diagnosis, we were in a bit of a rough patch. So when he was diagnosed, it was a super shock, but then it also kind of gelled us together. And we did his cancer journey right to the end. But at the very end, after he passed, it became super complicated for me. And I think that's the thing that nobody expects when you go through something like that. Complicated grief is real, and most people have it, and they don't know that what they feel is okay.
Mm, you just like nailed it right there. Like it's okay to kind of go through that process. I know I felt the same way. I mean, Aaron's was obviously a shock. He just passed away in his sleep. But then what unfolds is giving yourself more than just permission to be like, okay, here's the
Yeah.
journey. What's this next chapter going to look like? I felt like I just shared this morning. I just started to close off the chapters as I needed to
Mhm.
kind of move forward. It doesn't mean you're forgetting and fully saying goodbye, but it's just allowing yourself to be like, okay, this is real and this is actually happening to me.
Yeah, and it becomes a real acceptance of this is where I am today. And my husband wanted me to live. He didn't want me to die with him.
Yeah.
I have to honor that. And also, self-care isn't bubble baths and facials. Self-care is making sure that I live my life, that I enjoy family and friends, that I cook,
Yeah.
that um, you know, I spend the rest of my days here happy and productive.
Yeah. And that's the way it's supposed to be. I felt the same way too, right? Where I'm like, there's a different type of productivity when it comes to like healing. And a lot of times, I think we've all been taught to schedule that chiro, go for that massage. And while I'm all for those things and when they're needed, and thank God for them, at the same time, I'm like, why are we like still filling up our schedule with things to do?
Yeah,
Like I've had moments where I'm like, why did I book a nail appointment today? I don't really feel like going to do that.
exactly. And the first couple of weeks were so confusing and so torn. And I felt guilt because I felt relieved.
Mhm.
But then I was also sad and angry and upset and numb and all the things. And back then, self-care was, did I eat? Did I shower? Did I
Yeah,
feed my
yeah, that I
and
can actually resonate with.
and now life is so completely different that I look back and I think, wow, I had a lot of support around me, but I just had to feel through it.
Mhm. I never fully get over it. It's just like a different type of a feeling now, right?
Mhm.
Like now you're able to actually share that, right? Whereas like when we're in it, for me, I was like, okay, I'm just going to start talking about it because for me, it just helped kind of move. And I started doing other things just to help kind of with that. And then, of course, as you know, I wrote a book because I was just like, oh my God, like I have to get this out. And there's, yeah, some moments where it's very tender, even dark and stormy, right? I'm
Mhm.
sure you felt that. And I don't even have to say many words. I just know you know. And then there's the other side where there's that enlightenedness, and you're like, oh, but I'm still living, I'm still breathing, right? Like navigating. And that can change in a flash, in a day, in a second.
Well, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It really, for me, I didn't have a writing process. I really worked with a good trauma therapist. So I'm continuing to work with her, and it's really helped me. It's helped me make sense of everything I went through. It's helped me process a lot of the early guilt because after my husband died, I was so relieved. And in order to understand that, I need to give you some context. He died at home. He
Mhm.
had cancer. We had a home care nurse come for about an hour and a half every week, not every day, an hour and a half a week. I did the rest. So there were times where I was up 24 hours because of the med schedule or some, unexpected pain or changing out the catheter bag or whatever it was, right? And so I had caregiver burnout to the extreme. And so at the end, I'm like, oh my God, thank God that's over. But oh wow, I can't feel that because I'm a bad person now.
Yeah,
And things, right? So it was very, very complicated, but therapy really helped. So
that's
yeah.
amazing. And it's amazing you had like those better coping tools, right? To assist and support, because we definitely need those for sure. Yeah, I don't know the cancer journey, but I know like after Aaron had passed, there's quite a few who are now going through the cancer journeys with their loved ones, and sometimes they would reach out just asking, not necessarily advice, but I'm like, I don't even know what to say other than I love you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's we just come to a place of just a different type of humanity where I'm like, I don't even know what to say to you. Like,
Mhm.
it's just, I didn't have that, but I do understand that whole side of before Aaron passed, like it was chaos for us too, right? There was a lot of conflict, there was a lot of things going on, things were shifting, neglect in a lot of areas. So when Aaron did pass too, as I've shared, it wasn't a complete surprise, but at the same time, I felt the exact same thing, relief, because I no longer had to worry about him. And then for the first time, I've been given that opportunity to now be like, oh my gosh, I can actually just kind of look inwards. But you're right. It is like, where do you even start? And there might be like a little bit of guilt, but then there's like a moment of like, yes. It's like totally very interesting how one can actually feel that.
And two, I think through this, I've really learned that your heart never closes and shuts down.
No.
Everybody says, oh, I'm never going to find anybody again. I'm never going to love again. That I think is that's kind of the immediate aftermath thinking. You can't imagine ever being with somebody else. You can't imagine yourself ever evolving into a new place. Uh,
Hmm.
but for a lot of us over time, you generally kind of soften into, oh, I do have space. There is space here to love. Um, and that's a really great thing.
I agree. And you still have something to provide.
Mhm.
I felt like one of my best friends just asked me that the other day. She's like, you're not in a place of dating. I'm like, no, I said, but I've been manifesting something a little bit different for when
Yeah.
that time will present itself. But for right now, I actually feel good. I feel like I'm just in my own space, doing my
Mhm.
own thing, not necessarily rediscovering, but I've had this opportunity to be like, what no longer needs to be here? Like that was a
Mhm.
good chunk of time. And now I've just been able to focus on the yummy stuff and doing
Mhm.
things just a little bit differently. Because for me too, and I bet you this was you, Tricia, what lessons did we learn? Like why did we go through and be a witness to our spouses dying at a younger age? Like I think there's that side of it too, where I was like, we have something to share, some stories to tell.
Mhm. So do you find yourself less attached to material stuff?
Oh yeah.
Went through that.
Yeah,
I've moved a couple of times since my late husband died. And I'm now at the point where if it doesn't have a purpose, if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't
totally.
work, if I don't have a place for it in my home, I don't keep it. It
Yeah.
goes to Goodwill or it goes to the landfill. Sorry to say, but yeah, I don't keep stuff
No,
just because 10 years ago I spent $20 on that corkscrew and it doesn't work today, but it's in,
it's
no,
still in the drawer.
right? No, that's not where I'm at now because I value everything in my life.
Yeah, there's something different about it. I had
Yeah.
someone say to me shortly after Aaron had passed, why are you giving away his stuff so soon? And I'm like, because people are coming and going, and it's a good chunk of our inner bubble, and all these items should belong with those humans. Like
Yeah.
99% of Aaron's belongings went somewhere within our bubble. Because in
Yeah.
that part, I feel like, well, that's like more of a different type of closure because I just didn't give his stuff away to like free will to like any stranger. It was like, no, it's been repurposed and it's,
Mhm.
being worn by someone else who loved Aaron. So once in a while, still to this day, I'll still get like a text message or someone will tag me in something that it is Aaron's shirt or like whatever. But there is something about a lot of things that started to go. And I remember she was older and I think her husband had passed like 5 years prior, and she was just starting to get to his office, which I was like, interesting. We all move very differently. But at
Well,
the same time, I'm like you. I didn't stay in the place Aaron passed away in.
mm-mm,
I always said the walls were like weeping. There
mhm,
was like a pandemic, things were going on. And then he passed away in our home. I'm like, I can't stay. And
yeah,
literally within like 5 days, the leasing agent's like, well, there's that other place down the hall. Do you want to take it? I said, sure. And on not even like less than a week after it passed, I moved. So that already came like this like catalyst of like, we got to get stuff out of here,
yeah.
you know. And a lot of people who were part of that process in that first week, and then the next weeks to come, because we had a storage unit on the east side of the city who helped with that. Everybody took something. Like a few things went to Goodwill, but as I said, like a high percentage, and that felt okay. And I'm still purging to this day. I was like, this has to get out of here because it's clutter and it clutters me.
That is so true. That's so true. And I have just recently gotten rid of a whole section of other things that I had kept. I had a box with every greeting card that my late husband had ever given me. And I've moved with that several times. And in this new home, and I've been in here since September, I thought, okay, what purpose does this serve? I have all the memories,
Yeah.
remember all of these birthdays or Valentine's or events. Do I need these physical greeting cards in a box in my closet? The answer is no. And so I got rid of them.
Mm-hmm. I was kind
And
of fast with our wedding album. I was like, you know what? We never even brought it out in the last like 16 years.
I still have
So
mine,
why
and
do
it's
I
in
have it? I'm like, we never looked at it
right
together.
in there.
And I'm
But
like, even Aaron would have been like, oh, just toss it already. Like that would have been Aaron. So for me, I just grabbed some photos from it that I wanted. I did pull a couple photos out to give to some people because I know they'd probably appreciate it. But other than that, I was like, and into the trash.
I still have one box of photos that are from that life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hang on to them, I think, until the new year. And then on my birthday, which is kind of my new year in January,
Yeah.
I'm going to decide what to do with those photos.
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? Like the little conversations I have with everybody, like the little things we do keep, and then there's other things that go so fast, and then some people take like a decade to get through
Mhm,
things. I think everyone's just a little different, right? But for
mhm.
me, it was just a different type of closure. Obviously, that's what you felt too by being
Yeah.
like, do I need these items? No. And then you'll know that there'll be some more things to come. Like I have kept some stuff too, and now have like a small, like little whatever. And
Yeah.
that's just actually more reflection. Like it's actually a lot of Aaron's journaling that he did in 2023. That was part
Okay.
of like, him trying to do his own like little therapy himself. And I've only been able to read the first and the last page since
Mhm.
he's passed. I haven't been able to look at anything else since. But I was like, at some point, I would like to actually really kind of see a little bit further what was going on in that heart, what was going on in that brain. I already have a good idea, but I'm not ready to really open up Pandora's box. You know, like there's
Yeah.
that side.
And I think the thing I struggled with the most that I got rid of as I was moving into this home was all the medical records and the medication
Mm-hmm.
binder and all the charting and all the things I did when he was sick. So because I did the home care, I had to chart all the medications,
Oh,
uh, all the things, and then all his medical records from all the scans, all the hospital visits. And I'm kind of two minds. I think in the beginning I wanted to keep it just because it was such a shock and such a trauma that I needed that tangible, yes, this actually happened. And then I wasn't sure, like, should I keep it for, any kind of future medical stuff?
mm-hmm.
Children,
Reference, yeah.
no, they're not going to want to read the ins and outs of every, every pill, every injection, every IV, like all those things. So I took it to a mobile shred and
Mm-hmm.
got that way. But that was hard because a big piece of me was tied up in um, that care. Like that was a tangible, a physical representation of everything I did in that
Yeah.
journey.
Your journey in that
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
And
That I
then
can understand.
because I've been through that once, I now have a really, really good sense of when you say till death do us part with somebody, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about you have to help them walk them to the bathroom. And then when you can't do that anymore, you're now dealing with, um, you know, catheters or whatever it is, right? Like it's not just the happy fun times in a marriage. It's, can you give this person a bath in their, a sponge bath in their bed? And can you do that for how many months?
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it has really expanded how I love. It really has. Like the people in my life that I really love hard because I
Mm-hmm.
know that one day they could be gone, or I'm going to care for them, or they're going to care for me. And knowing that that is a real love, that's just not, airy fairy, we both like pepperoni on pizza, let's get married. Um, yeah.
I like that a lot. I like what you're saying there. I feel like that too. Because I feel like you probably did that too, where you kind of tightened up some boundaries for certain things. Right? Yeah, me too. Choosing your
Yeah.
bubble wisely, choosing your people wisely. And even then moving forward, I get, hey, we should do coffee. And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, we didn't really have good conversations then. We can have a good
I
conversation now.
I know. And I've told myself it's okay that I've moved on.
Yeah,
It's okay that a friend of
totally.
mine is not in sync with me anymore and she's
Yeah,
on a different path. It's okay that I've made a left turn.
yeah,
It's all right. I still love her. If she calls me, I'm here for her. But
yeah.
circles tightened up and it's gotten much deeper.
Yeah, which I feel like that should just be like the whole purpose. I felt like that actually during the pandemic. That was probably like another reawakening. How do you want to spend your time and who you want to spend it with?
Mhm.
And then Aaron's passing did the exact same thing where I was like, oh, enough. How much
So,
more do we need? So it's not even just the materialistic side you're talking about too, right? It's like the actual human connection and the depth of those connections, which is what we all need and what most people actually dream about, right?
And one of the things I loved in your book was how you talked about how so many people are stuck on the treadmill.
Yeah.
They are, their identity is their work.
Yeah.
And I am so fortunate that that is not me.
Yeah.
Retired now, and I don't identify with what I do.
Yeah.
If you're in that place too, I would say that I don't see you as a job title. You're not an entrepreneur, a makeup artist. You're Trina.
Yeah. And that's just it. I totally agree with that. I feel like too, every time I'm even just talking to a coaching client, I'm like, what makes you happy? Like, who are you outside of all of this? Because then that's what then you're living your fulfillment. And then you're actually like also attracting some probably better people your way, right? Like even just in marketing, I said that to my marketing guys. I'm like, I don't need everybody. I'm like, let's just share that Trina side. So then there's the right people that are like, I understand that. I'd like to work with her. And then we'll probably get along. And it'll just not necessarily be easy, but there should be some ease. Like it shouldn't be pushing. It shouldn't have to be like we're just trying to like grab all the things we can all the time. Cause I can't work like that. And I definitely can't work like that right now. Like not even a chance.
And burnout is real. I think
Mm,
for a lot of people, they're caught up in the to-do list, the I
mm-hmm.
accumulate, I need that next bag, I need to be driving a Maserati, I need, instead of, wow, you know what? I have an afternoon off. Let's be in nature.
Yes. That's like my go-to too, which I love. Yeah, just being in connection with oneself. And I feel like until, unfortunately, something actually breaks you or something around you breaks,
Mhm.
then we're exposed to that inner alignment that we're like, oh, hey there, I've missed
Yeah.
you. I've known you've always been there, but I've missed you. And
Mhm.
so there is like that whole healing process of, you just said it, right? Understanding that you don't have to feel guilty to now realize, okay, this is the moment and the time that I've been given to be with myself
Yeah.
and start to create, as you were just saying, create the life you desire, create the
Mhm.
life that just makes you feel yummy on the inside. Like I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of that. Huge
Mhm.
fan. You know,
Yeah.
I can imagine now like speeding up to, because your late husband passed late 2023, 2022. Where are we?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because it's been 3 years now.
It's been 3 years, but it feels like four because I had my first Thanksgiving, my first Christmas, my first
Oh
New Year,
yeah.
birthday, Valentine's, Mother's Day, all within 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm heading into my fourth birthday without him, my,
Mm-hmm.
my fourth Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
it, my brain, it's 4 years.
But yet still in your heart, it almost feels like it hasn't been that long, which
Yeah.
I can actually resonate with. Because that was me too. My birthday fell not even 3 weeks after Aaron passed. So I
Mhm.
was 43 and I'll be turning 46 in the next few months. And I'm like, but there really hasn't been like that much going on. It's only been 20 months, but it's just been all these like things. And even too, what is first? You know, like I still think there's some tender things. Like I'm pretty sure you're still remembering little things coming up with the holiday season and Christmas, right? Or something just triggers you. For me, it's been like some movies over the holiday season where I'm like, oh, okay, I can't watch those, right? I know you said something about movies.
Oh, yeah. There's one movie, Interstellar, with Matthew McConaughey.
This.
Um, I have a really, really hard time with that movie because some of the music from that movie was at his funeral. I used a lot of
Oh,
music from Gladiator, music from Interstellar,
oh,
Inception. Like a lot of that music was played at, in the beginning part of his funeral. So I associate that with that day.
I love that. And I feel that for you because I can only imagine. I know there's a lot of little things too where I felt kind of triggered just rolling into Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
Like, this isn't when we be out doing most of our hiking and doing all these like little things. And there's still a lot of things I still haven't actually, I don't want to say tackled. Maybe I just don't have interest. I'm not ready for it. I don't know what it is, but I'm just not ready to show up to certain things or like put on a certain movie yet either. I'm like, well, not ready for that. Because I
Yeah,
think there is something with that too. You start to embrace change and you're like, this is the whole messaging, right? This is like what we've been given is like that chance to kind of move forward, but it is a very tender step. Especially when we didn't have a choice with the journeys and the chapters we've been given.
exactly.
That's how
And
I feel.
that's why I'm so fortunate that I actually did a lot of healing and set myself up for a new journey in love. If I hadn't done the healing work in the beginning, I don't think I'd be in this position at all. I mean, even with my girlfriends, I'm a much better friend now. So I think, yeah, just that growth, that opening, having your heart smashed with grief gives you a chance to rebuild from the basement up, and you build a really solid foundation.
Mm, it's true. It's like we look at, there's a different perspective. Even my financial advisor, she's like, now's the time. Like, lay it down correctly and then like let's do it this way. She's like, if that's important to you, then that's how we roll with it. I'm like, excellent. Because I'm not retired, you know, like, and I don't want to retire just yet. I'm like, but I want to do things a little differently. And that was for me too, was okay, let's get rid of this. So it opens up just focusing on this and
Mhm.
being the same thing, having time to go for coffee with friends, actually
Yeah.
getting together with people. I felt like everything was such a rat race before Aaron passed, where you're trying to squeeze in friends and get together with people, right? Like it was just always a schedule. And I'm like, I'm tired of this. I can't live like this anymore.
Right. I think in our Western culture, busy is a badge of honor.
Ugh, tell me
And
about
I'm
it.
about it now. And it's like, if you're that busy, you're disorganized.
Yeah. Or you
You
just don't have
can't,
your priorities yet together.
or if you can't make time to actually eat a meal, like sit down with a knife and fork, the meal,
Yeah.
really reevaluate what's going on, because that is some of the best self-care, nourishing yourself,
Yeah. I
getting
agree.
exercise, even if
Yeah.
that's a walk with your little dog, breathing fresh air, doing those
Hmm.
kind of. So I hate to hear people say, "Oh, I'm too busy." Well, yeah, but you're busy on your phone playing video games. You're not busy, you know?
Or just scrolling into the abyss, right? I know. I feel like that was the same thing too. I tried to, even just with myself since Aaron's passed too, it's like when I'm at my table, it's
Mhm.
like the no tech zone. I'm here to
Yeah.
eat. I'm here to eat only and being mindful of my mornings and just doing things like a little differently because I was that person too. You get up and you're like, oh my God, the day. There's so much going on. And then I always just felt like I'd be chasing the day. Nobody should live like that, you know, and that's just like not a way to live. So let's start to kind of wrap this up because I think you've really highlighted some really good points, Tricia. You feel gratitude
Yeah.
despite everything you've gone on, you know, got going on, and you just nailed a few things on the head when it comes to being a better friend, taking care of your health. I guess leave us with like one last thought for someone who's, you know, maybe just starting a grief journey, unfortunately, or maybe it's not even just grief by death. It could be just grief in relationships, a career. What are like one or two thoughts to leave us with?
It's that old adage, put your own oxygen mask on first. You really have to get over the idea that it's selfish to put yourself first. But without doing that, you're going to crumble, and then everybody around you won't get the benefit of your best self. So that's my first thing. You have to do for you first. And then, you know what? I'm a really big proponent of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Can't afford it, look in your community for sliding scale resources. Look for, any kind of volunteer situations in your community where you can, meet with somebody and talk about things. I think getting stuck in your head isn't that great. ChatGPT is not a therapist. You need to talk to them.
Sorry, that just
And
made me laugh, but you're so right. Or even just doing a search on Google, right? Yeah,
Google's
I'm
not your,
with you.
Google's not your therapist. I'm a big proponent of that because sometimes you get in a mental rut and you can't see the daylight that's just around the corner.
Hmm.
Two things, do the real self-care, and then, help somebody talk it out with you.
I think this is beautiful. Well, you left us with heart. Thank you for sharing and being courageous to jump on. And, I appreciate you too when you started reaching out to me, vice versa, because I know I shared that with you. I felt like there's been a few colleagues, I felt like things were getting closer and closer to home. I'm like, why are all these husbands passing away all of a sudden? And then I felt like I kind of joined the widow roster. And
Yeah, and
then and then you guys started reaching out to me, right? So again, here's that community and that love and that support. And I will always be forever grateful. And then here we are recording a podcast talking about this stuff since we've seen each other last.
maybe last thing is, when new love comes around, give it a chance.
I love that. That's so good. Thank you, Tricia, for being here. And for those of you listening, thank you for, joining me always, and take care in the rest of 2025 and continue to walk in good faith. We'll see you again soon.